Welcome back to STL TV Live. I'm Sarah Thompson. My first guests on today's show are part of a movement proving that regular people, even those without six-figure salaries, can become art collectors. Joining me now are Katy Peace and Matthew Paul Isaacson from CSA STL, which actually stands for Community Supported Art, St. Louis.
Exactly.
So before we get into how everyday people can buy artwork from professional artists, tell me about CSA STL and what it is.
Well, it's a community program based off the model of community-supported agriculture, but instead of providing people with fresh farm produce, we are working with artists to provide them with fresh and local art. So every season we'll have a new jury, and the jury will select new artists. This season we are working with 9 talented St. Louis artists, and they are creating works in addition of 50, and that will go to 50 members who will get 1 piece from each of our 9 artists.
Okay, so the model is it's the 50 members, correct, who've sort of invested in this,
Exactly.
is that correct? And then you select each year, how many are you allowed to say how many applicants
We had
you
about
got?
50 applicants this
50
year.
applicants, so you narrow it down to 9, and you're essentially paying these artists like Matthew who's here.
Yeah.
And so how does that work? You're paying them as they produce the artwork for the
Upon
members?
completion. So we sell the shares, and then the artists get a stipend of $1,000 to complete their work, and then they get to create this wonderful work that they maybe wouldn't have had an opportunity to create otherwise, and our members get 9 pieces of handmade original artwork from local artists.
So let's talk about the alternative to this. If something like this didn't exist, because this has been popular in other cities, and you're essentially, you have brought it here to St. Louis, how would an artist operate? They would have to go to the gallery first?
Right, well it's difficult for an artist to make money, and Matthew can probably talk to this much more. But.
Yeah, I mean, I basically approach galleries, through a portfolio, and have a conversation. We go about selecting pieces if I get into the gallery, or otherwise a juried show exhibition. Same sort of process. You send the work out, and you potentially get a response, like I was selected for this. So
it can be pretty challenging.
It can be very challenging.
And so this is a way that brings you face to face. Do you actually do the artists come to know the members who are buying?
We hope so.
Yeah,
Absolutely. We are planning 3 pickup events where the members can come and receive the artwork that they are buying, and we hope that the artists will be there as well, so that the members can meet the artists, meet each other, kind of find this community and make buying art and getting to know art more accessible to everyday people.
Okay, well Matthew, let's talk about, we have a photo of one of your pieces. Tell me a bit about your background, how you classify yourself as an artist. I think every artist hates that question, but...
It was a long road, mostly through, here's the piece right here. So this is just a representational piece. All the work that I'm creating is going to be all new in this edition, and so I was kind of talking earlier with Katy, it's one-of-a-kind pieces, yet they're all 50 in that edition. So my background, I guess, in art was education through getting a bachelor's degree in ceramics with a focus, and also a minor in music, and then I went on to graduate school and pursued ceramics and glass. Traveled the country, taught, moved out to Seattle, was blowing glass out at Pilchuck with Jail Chihuly, and then moved back to Michigan, then ended up getting a position down here in St. Louis at the community college. And so I've kind of traveled around the country, working, making art, getting things placed in collections, and so it's been a long, fun, happy journey, I guess.
And in St. Louis, I feel St. Louis is extremely welcoming and sort of fertile arts ground. But is it difficult to sort of make a living solely selling your artwork?
Well, that's why I teach, and so that's my main primary source of income. Making art, if I were to do that, I would have to probably be working in the studio 16 hours a day, devoting myself primarily for 3 months a year, focusing on making, and then the rest 7 months would be marketing, and then another 2 traveling and getting myself out there. So
Katy, is the idea that this would essentially, sort of take on a life of its own, where more and more artists hear about it each year, you're getting more applicants, and would it grow? Would that 50-member sort of base always stay the same, and 9 artists, does that ratio always stay the same, or would it grow?
Not necessarily. I think the program really lends itself to different incarnations. So maybe one year we'll have more artists, and maybe one year we'll have more members. So we're kind of seeing how it grows, how St. Louis responds to it. And this year has been very successful so far, so we can't wait to see what happens in the future.
And so do you have already like a firm date for your next upcoming annual event? Or
We do. We have our pickup date set for September 20th in Old North. October 18th for Grand Center and November 13th in Cherokee Street.
Okay, well, no, that's great information. This is really, it's a great concept. It's a great idea. I mean, I know I hear all the time from interviewing artists that they want to find a healthy sort of, place to sell their artwork in an environment. And this is, hopefully a really solid solution for that.
I hope so.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we actually have photos of artwork of some of the artists that are working with CSA STL. So please stay with us right after this short break.